Great season. That's what's been happening. It's great football.
You meeting with the mayor here tomorrow?
I do expect to meet with the mayor, yes.
It seems to be pretty obvious that's about the future of football here in San Diego, or what would you characterize that meeting as?
Just to get an update from the mayor about what's happening on the stadium front. It's not unusual that I do that when I come into cities.
When's the last time you had dialogue with city officials here about the stadium?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Prior to that, when's been the last time?
It's been several months. I've been focusing on the labor issue, so everything is pre-labor. So.
How serious do you think the Chargers are about staying in San Diego? The team said that the downtown convention thing was probably the last chance for
Well, they've been trying for 10 years to find a solution to getting a stadium. I think everyone recognizes a new stadium is needed to keep the Chargers competitive. And they have worked tirelessly to find a solution with the community leaders, and we need to do that. That's part of the initiative, is to try to find a solution that works for the community and the team.
How does the CBA help teams that are trying to build new stadiums?
I think it helps a great deal on several fronts. One is you have 10 years of labor peace, you have that foundation. Second of all, in the context of the labor agreement, we have financing abilities with the players to try to help get these constructed. They're complex projects, they're expensive projects, and it takes a public-private partnership, and the players have recognized that and are contributing to that.
Have you seen any progress that you're aware of between the city and the Chargers that maybe we're not of in the last few months?
Well, let me have the meeting so I can give you an update after that. So.
Roger, speaking of the CBA, are you still optimistic that you can get HGH testing in this season?
I certainly, we're not leaving a focus of that. We're completely focused on that. We think it's the right thing to do. We agreed to it, and we think it's the right thing to do for player safety. We think it's important for the credibility of the game. We think it's important as a message to kids who not only play our game, but play any game. That you shouldn't be taking performance-enhancing drugs, and HGH is certainly something that we need to be testing for.
Are you discouraged or disappointed by the slowness of movement on the other side, the NFLPA?
I'm disappointed. I'm never discouraged. It's something we agreed to.
Right.
He had talked about it for well over a year. It wasn't something that came up at the last minute. It was important for us as the NFL, I think, to continue to be the leader in sports, and that includes in performance-enhancing drug testing. And I think we're proud of our program, but clearly this aspect of the program, meaning HGH testing, needs to be implemented to make sure you have the best program in sports.
How do you get that done with them dragging their feet? Do you need another body like Congress to step in here?
I'm certainly hopeful that we can do it without involvement with Congress. I think, again, we agreed to it, so I'm hopeful that we can all live up to our agreements and get it done. I respect the fact that we want to have a valid test. We didn't initially wrap our arms around this test, as you know, when it was first created in 2004, but there's 7 years of history. A lot of science, a lot of medicine is behind it, and we're comfortable that this is a valid test. And we respect the fact that the Players Association wants to have confidence in that too. I think they have access to all the information we have and should be in a position to be able to be confident in that.
Hey Roger, another local issue, Chris Dealman's concussion and the aftermath. How have officials reacted to being told to keep on the lookout for concussions?
That's something that is, we believe is responsibility of everybody who's on the field, whether you're a coach, medical personnel, other players, or officials. If you see somebody that you think needs medical attention, safety is a priority, and they should make sure the right medical attention is given, which means just alert the team and let the medical professionals make those decisions. We're not asking them to make any medical decisions.
Just to be alert, more alert.
Just to be alert, and if they think someone needs attention or needs to be evaluated, they should ask the team to do that.
Did it almost need an incident like this to maybe move this issue forward to?
I think, I think we're all learning and improving, and I think you're always trying to adapt and try to get better at it, and I think I wouldn't like to say that we needed this incident. We hope that the proper procedures are going to be followed, but we also recognize, this is something that's evolving, and we want to be ahead of the game.
Is a team in Los Angeles a when more than an if?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No, I mean, again, until there's an appropriate solution in Los Angeles, there won't be a team there.
Do you favor one of the two sites?
No, I don't.
What is an appropriate solution?
The right kind of stadium, and we'd have to make it work for the NFL and obviously for the community and for the team.
What's the right kind of stadium?
Well, one, you have to get it built. Two, you have to have it financed, and three, it has to be able to generate the kind of revenue that's necessary to keep a team successful. And last but not least is make sure it works for the community.
We hear a lot about relocation fees. Is that a standard procedure you would expect if a team moved to Los Angeles, that team would have to pay a large relocation fee?
Relocation fees are part of our relocation policy, so it would be a consideration, sure.
I'm among those who applaud your efforts to make the game a little bit safer. But it seems like the responsibility is on the defensive player. We see quarterbacks drop passes into impossible tiny spots, and all of a sudden there's a big collision, and the defensive player gets a penalty flag. You've educated defensive players. Have you educated quarterbacks about their responsibilities?
Well, your focus is on defenseless players. And if a player is in a position where they're exposed to injury, which is not new, we've always had protections for quarterbacks, kickers that are in an exposed position, and receivers. So we also have focus for defensive players when they're in an exposed position, like a crackback block. So we always look at player safety. It's a priority for us, and we're going to try to make sure that there are rules in place to make sure that any techniques that can lead to injury are going to be addressed in our rules.
What's the greatest issue with Qualcomm Stadium that makes long-term football there less than ideal?
Well, when you look at what's going on in the country, I think it's probably 26 or 27 of our stadiums either been newly built or renovated. And the quality of those stadiums, whether it starts with the sight lines, whether it cites the amenities to our fans, the quality of the seats themselves, suites, the revenue opportunities, even down to access in and out of the facility. All of those are important to us because one of our big challenges going forward is how do we continue to get people to come to our stadiums. The experience at home is a great experience on television, and we want to encourage people to be in our stadium. There's nothing better. I watched the game on Sunday, seeing Charger fans. That's a great experience when you see that kind of enthusiasm.
Would you agree that the three stadiums in California are the least desirable?
The three stadiums in California certainly are not up to the standards of what we're seeing in the rest of the NFL or, frankly, other sports.
Is that
You
something
mentioned-
to say about California? Say something about California.
Just a fact.
Anything else, Marty?
If that stadium is built in LA, the right kind of stadium, like you said, and there continues to be a lack of traction on the stadium down here, should Charger fans be worried?
Listen, we have to find a solution here. Right now, the San Diego Chargers are here because the Spanos family wants to be here, and I believe they want to continue to be here. It's up to us to find a solution. We all have to work together to find that, and that's our commitment. I know the Spanos family commitment, and I'm confident the leaders here in the city.
All right, very good, thanks.
One more question. As the commissioner of the most powerful sport in this country, I do want your opinion on what's happening at Penn State. I know Joe Paterno just resigned and the AD is out, but what is your opinion as to what's happened?
It's not part of my responsibility. The whole thing is a tragic circumstance. So.
Is your meeting then
Okay.
not significant tomorrow? I mean, you say you've met, this is pretty standard operating procedure. You would meet with the city officials, whether there's a stadium issue or not. You're meeting with the mayor
Yes.
tomorrow.
That's not unusual when I come into town.
So is the meeting not significant then to what the Chargers are
Ask the
trying to
mayor
get done
tomorrow.
here?
I think it's important for me to be in touch with city leaders where we have franchises because it's about a collaboration. It's about working together to make sure the team continues to be successful and the community. So it's not unusual, but I think they're always important.
All right.
I wouldn't take my time to do it.
Thanks.
She's got a few more.
There was some uncertainty as to how people will receive the NFL after the lockout. Are you surprised that the NFL is bigger than it ever has been before?
No, because I think that it just reflects the passion of the fans. I think the fans want football, and we've now secured football for the next 10 years, and I think secured the future of the game. And I think the fans have reacted to that. I think that's a positive thing for everyone.
Is there room for this game to get even better? I know you've talked about games in London, maybe a team in London, but can this game get any better than it is
I
right
believe
now?
so. Yeah, I believe that the labor agreement and the 10 years of certainty will help us make the game better. We've made the game safer, it's more popular than ever, and we have more work to do. But I still believe the game can continue to grow, and that's what we were after in the collective bargaining agreement, and I think we've achieved that.
How much of these games do you actually get to watch on Sundays?
Well, last Sunday, it was one of the best Sundays I can remember because I was with my twin girls in the basement, and I think the 4 o'clock finishes were extraordinary. I was down there screaming with my family and enjoying the games.
Do you get a chance to watch the NFL Red Zone? I live in a Time Warner cable area. I cannot get the Red Zone. What are you doing to bring it back into my neighborhood?
Well, we're disappointed in that too because I do get to watch the Red Zone. I think it's one of the greatest innovations in television, and I'm sorry you're missing it. And I think it's a mistake that Time Warner, they're one of the largest cable operators and the only one that's not carrying us.
2 last questions. Can you make any sense of the AFC West and who's going to win this division at this point?
No, but that's the great thing about football is it's unpredictable and it's competitive. And we've seen that over the years. We've seen how teams can go from last to first and the competitive quality of our teams. And I think that's great for fans.
And last thing, any advice you can offer the NBA and their fans who are involved in the lockout of their own right now?
No, I just hope they get it settled. It's good for sports to be back playing.
Thank you.
All right.